1. What if Uranus appeared in our sky? Imagine looking up at the night sky and seeing a bright blue object growing larger each day. At first, it might seem like a fascinating celestial event, but in reality, it could signal an impending catastrophe. If Uranus somehow broke free from its orbit and headed toward Earth, we'd witness an unprecedented sight. Normally, Uranus orbits about 1.9 billion miles from Earth and is 4 times larger than our planet. It should remain stable due to gravitational forces. However, if a massive collision similar to the one that likely knocked Uranus on its side 4 billion years ago were to occur again, it could theoretically disrupt its orbit, sending the ice giant hurtling through the solar system. At a speed of 600 miles per second, Uranus would take just 30 days to reach Earth, instead of the millions of years it would normally take to drift this far. At first, it would appear as a small blue dot in the night sky, but within weeks, it would grow larger and brighter, eventually rivaling the Moon in size. In reality, 2025 brings a rare celestial event known as the Planetary Parade, where 6 planets Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus will align in the night sky. Events like this allow scientists to study planetary motion in greater detail. While there is no real danger of Uranus shifting its orbit, the more immediate threat comes from near-Earth asteroids, such as 2024 YR4, which has a small but increasing probability of impacting Earth in 2032. If a large enough asteroid were to be knocked off course, it could create a chain reaction that might affect planetary movements, though this remains highly unlikely. So, if you ever see a massive blue planet creeping closer to Earth, let's hope it's just a rare celestial phenomenon and not the beginning of the end. The journey of Uranus to Earth, updated 2025. If Uranus were to somehow break free from its orbit and head toward Earth, it wouldn't be a slow creeping disaster, it would be a cosmic bullet shot straight at us. Under normal circumstances, Uranus is locked in a stable orbit 1.9 billion miles from Earth, taking 84 years to complete a single trip around the Sun. However, if a catastrophic event, such as a planetary collision or gravitational disturbance, were to knock Uranus off course, it could set the ice giant on a terrifying trajectory toward our planet. A planet as massive as Uranus doesn't just change direction for no reason. In the past, similar events have shaped planets in our solar system. 4 billion years ago, Uranus likely collided with an Earth-sized object, which tipped it onto its side, giving it its unique rotational tilt of 98 degrees. If another massive impact were to occur, Uranus could be sent careening off its current orbit. Moving at 600 miles per second, Uranus would close the vast distance between us in just 30 days, a shocking acceleration compared to its usual glacial pace. As it approached, the night sky would change dramatically. Initially, Uranus might appear as a dim blue speck, but within weeks, it would outshine Venus, then grow to rival the Moon in size. The gravitational forces of the approaching planet would begin to wreak havoc on Earth before impact even occurred, triggering massive earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and tidal waves. As terrifying as this scenario sounds, current science assures us that no such event is remotely possible. However, what does pose a real danger are near-Earth asteroids. For example, asteroid 2024 YR4 discovered in December 2024 has a small but increasing probability of impacting Earth in 2032. While much smaller than Uranus, an asteroid of significant size could still cause planet-wide destruction. Scientists are actively monitoring these threats, with missions like NASA's DART program testing ways to deflect potentially hazardous objects. So, while Uranus won't be crashing into Earth anytime soon, our planet still faces cosmic threats. The good news? We have time to prepare. 3. The impacts before collision. As Uranus barrels toward Earth, the effects of its approach would be felt long before the actual impact. With a mass 15 times greater than Earth's, the ice giant's gravitational pull would begin disrupting our planet's stability well in advance. The closer it got, the more extreme these effects would become, leading to a series of devastating events across the globe. One of the earliest signs of catastrophe would be a surge in seismic and volcanic activity. The increased gravitational pull would place enormous stress on Earth's tectonic plates, triggering massive earthquakes and volcanic eruptions worldwide. Supervolcanoes such as Yellowstone in the United States and Campi Flegrei in Italy could erupt violently, spewing ash and gases that would darken the sky and make survival nearly impossible. As Uranus passed through the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, its immense gravitational force would disrupt the orbits of countless asteroids. Some of these space rocks, ranging from several feet to hundreds of miles across, would be knocked out of their usual paths and sent hurtling toward Earth. A single 150-mile wide asteroid, like those thrown off course by Uranus, could dwarf one that wiped out the dinosaurs earthquakes and volcanic Armageddon, the first signs of impending doom would come in the form of severe earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. With Uranus exerting immense gravitational forces, Earth's crust would buckle under pressure, causing continent-wide fault shifts. Cities would collapse as magnitude 10+ earthquakes rippled across the globe. At the same time, supervolcanoes like Yellowstone in the US and Toba in Indonesia would erupt with unimaginable force, spewing trillions of tons of ash into the atmosphere. This could trigger volcanic winter, looking out sunlight and drastically dropping global temperatures, causing mass extinctions even before the collision. Additionally, the ocean's Earth's tides are controlled by the moon's gravitational influence, but Uranus would be a force thousands of times stronger. As it did, the oceans would rise uncontrollably, creating 1,000-foot megatsunamis that would swallow entire cities and wipe coastlines off the map. A poisoned atmosphere. Uranus's atmosphere is composed primarily of hydrogen sulfide, the same gas responsible for the smell of rotten eggs. As the ice giant grew closer, its gases would begin leaking into Earth's atmosphere. Toxic clouds would spread worldwide, causing mass suffocation events. Those who were crushed to the ground, frozen by volcanic ash, likely succumb to the toxic air. The real cosmic dangers, although this disaster is purely theoretical, it highlights the real dangers lurking in our solar system. But Uranus will never veer off course. Asteroids like 2024 YR4 remain legitimate threats. Scientists estimate its probability of impact in 2032 is increasing, though efforts like NASA's DART program aim to mitigate these risks. While the world will thankfully to Uranus, planetary defense remains crucial. Our greatest challenge is the rogue ice giant is making sure we're ready for the next asteroid impact. 5. The force of the impact would be unlike anything seen in the 4.5 billion year history of our solar system. This wouldn't be just another extinction event, it would be total planetary annihilation. The initial impact, given Uranus's massive size, 4 times the diameter of Earth, and 15 times the mass, the collision would release energy beyond comprehension, billions of times more powerful than the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. The atmosphere would ignite instantly, causing global firestorms that would vaporize everything on the surface within seconds. Oceans would boil away, and the Earth's crust would shatter like glass, exposing the planet's molten core. Earth becomes a fragmented wasteland. The intense impact would likely shatter Earth into pieces, sending massive planetary debris flying across the solar system. Some of these fragments might become new asteroids, while others could be pulled into Uranus's gravitational field, forming new moons orbiting the ice giant. Earth as a singular planet would no longer exist. Would Uranus survive? Despite its destructive power, Uranus itself wouldn't come away unscathed. The last time Uranus experienced a planetary-scale collision, possibly with an object twice the size of Earth, it was tipped over its side, causing its unique 98-degree axial tilt. If Uranus were to collide with Earth, the sheer force of impact could alter its tilt again, potentially restoring it to a more upright position. However, given the density difference between the two planets, Uranus would remain mostly intact, absorbing much of Earth's mass into its structure. Realistic threat. While this scenario is purely hypothetical, the idea of planetary-scale destruction isn't entirely fictional. Near-Earth asteroids, such as 2024 YR4, have a growing probability of impact in 2032. While much smaller than Uranus, a large enough asteroid could still trigger global devastation. This is why space agencies worldwide, including NASA, are actively working on planetary defense programs like the DART mission, which successfully tested asteroid deflection techniques. Final thought. A lesson in cosmic fragility. Although Earth would be swallowed by Uranus, the vastness of space holds real threats. If history has taught us anything, it's that the universe is unpredictable, and preparation is the key to survival. The next extinction event may not come from our own planet but from an asteroid we failed to stop in time. 6. Could life reappear after the collision? If Uranus were to collide with Earth, the destruction would be absolute. Every trace of life, oceans, forests, cities would be vaporized in an instant. The surface of Earth, if any of it still existed, would be unrecognizable. However, if history has taught us anything, it's that life is remarkably resilient. Life's ability to recover on Earth. Life has endured 5 mass extinctions, including the asteroid impact that wiped out the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. After each catastrophe, life has eventually found a way to return, often in new and unexpected forms. If any part of Earth remained after the collision with Uranus, microscopic life such as extrophiles that could survive in harsh conditions could potentially persist in deep underground environments, or within debris ejected into space. Could Earth become a moon with Uranus? One possible outcome humanity are also responsible for the creation of new worlds. If life on Earth were to vanish, it might reappear elsewhere, proving that, in the vastness of the cosmos, extinction is never truly the end.